Hey everyone and welcome. My name is Marcus and a warm welcome to my YouTube channel. This is the first video I'm sharing here and it's to accompany the work I've started doing as a medium and a coach. And in this video I'm going to explain why even bother with this whole thing called spirituality. And I've had this perspective for about 20 years. And so what I'm hoping to achieve in today's video is kind of share what the benefits that I've been getting out of having this perspective. And in no way, shape or form am I here to tell you how to view the world or how to think. I strongly encourage you to take what resonates and leave what doesn't, because that's kind of how I formed my view on reality, ourselves, and this whole thing called life on planet Earth. There are a lot of benefits, at least that I personally feel, and so I'm going to go through some of the ones that really stick out for me. So the first one is guidance and support. It's, whether you're talking about the universe, source, God, angels, spirit guides, our own soul, whatever it is, whatever higher power, whatever word you're choosing to use, there is extreme comfort and extreme support that you feel, at least I do, walking through life with that perspective. It's, we talk about love here on this planet, and the amount of love and support that is available to you that you can tap into is the number one reason why I feel like this is a perspective that resonates with me. And walking through life feeling guided is an amazing feeling. And it wasn't always like that for me. I've kind of had this perspective since I was 17, but more actively when I was 25 is kind of when I really started practicing it. And that's kind of when the whole guidance aspect really got highlighted for me. And it was really the missing piece in my life, to be honest. And it just made everything, it made sense of this whole thing that we call life. Honestly, for me, it was kind of awesome, for sure. And so with that, like you feel less alone, you feel a sense of safety, you feel guidance, like I said, and just the unconditional love that is available for us is like unbelievable. And so during meditation, if that's something that we can tap into, it's like, beyond words. So that's definitely the benefit number one that I'm getting from this perspective. Another one is inspiration and passion. It goes alongside the guidance aspect, which is, if I'm feeling guided in a specific way, like I'll stumble across things that really inspire me. Like I might be guided to do one thing, and even though it might not make sense in the moment, like, I've played around with this for many years, and it's like, if I then take a step on my guidance, then usually something awesome happens, and I get inspired to do something else, and I feel this sense of passion and purpose. And that's what I've come to understand, is that's kind of how intuition works. It leads us with these positive emotions like passion and excitement, and it's awesome to be in that energy whilst doing your project or whatever. And it's one of the things that I'll mention a bit later is like that is kind of like the compass of our soul. Like it guides us through passion and excitement, so in order to encourage us to discover more about who we really are. Another thing that has really helped me with this perspective is to understand us humans, why we're here, like what's this whole thing about. and why people do certain things. Like, I've come to understand myself a lot better with this perspective, because I truly believe we are souls having a human experience. I don't think we are humans having a soul. I do think we are souls that have this experience, and the purpose of this is to learn. And that perspective really puts things into perspective, no pun intended, with the way other people are living their life, certain themes. So that has been really super helpful. Navigating relationships as well, which I'll get to in a second. But just less judgment about people acting in a different way, and kind of being less attached. Initially it's kind of easy to maybe, go down the rabbit hole of all the theories. So, I'm not going to get into that in this video, but once I've come to understand that, like, we're all here to learn, it's like, I have more compassion to myself and to others, and seeing them with less judgment, basically. Yes, and then the next one, relationships. It's, relationships are a massive theme for humanity, like whether that's friendship, romantic, family, like we all have relationship with others in some way, shape or form. And I think it's safe to say that in some way they are at least a little bit challenging every now and then. And so with this perspective of spirituality, of saying that we're all here to learn and grow, it really helps, when I'm moving into a relationship, whether that's professional, friendship, romantic, it's what am I here to learn? Like, how can I grow? Like, because I ultimately believe that is the purpose of relationships. And so with that perspective, it's easier for me to kind of step back, not get fed into drama and arguments, because I'm catching myself, noticing patterns coming up that I need to work on, and things that I need to learn about and grow and let go of. So that's another thing. Health is also another massive, we all have, sometimes we get sick, and I believe that our diseases, our injuries, in some way, shape or form, are manifestations of energy that is out of alignment. So if I'm always stressed, I might get burned out. If I'm working too hard or whatever, like I'm going to catch a cold, and I'm going to need to rest and recover. So whenever I feel less than, awesome, I'm always asking myself, what's the underlying reason? Like, what kind of pattern am I in that I'm not seeing, that's kind of moving me into this direction of getting sick or injuring myself? Am I pushing myself too hard with exercise because I think X, Y, Z or whatever? So always asking, like, what's the underlying reason, has really helped me move through, if I'm feeling down, if I'm feeling sick, if I'm feeling injured, with a little bit more grace. And I mean, I've had a very healthy life for the most part. I've had a couple of burnouts, and I've kind of realized what they mean, and like I've derived meaning from them that has guided me forward in life as well. And I would say it's very difficult to do that when I'm in it. It's you're like, these kind of insights, at least for me, come after I've done the tricky physical reality, hard work or whatever. And another one, of course, is emotional and mental stability. Thinking about the heart and the mind connection, I do feel like our emotions are generated based on what thoughts we think. So if I am thinking thoughts that are in alignment with my divine nature, my own truth, then I'm gonna have more emotions that are in alignment with those thoughts. So that's a big one. And of course, mental stability. If we talk about meditation, that's an awesome tool to kind of get to know our inner world a bit better, and to understand our thoughts, where they're coming from. Because if I'm always thinking about all of these crazy things, then that might lead to the stress, that might lead to the disease that we were talking about in just a second ago. So, because we live such mental lives. I don't mean it in that sense, but we use our thoughts in our mind with our computers and everything. It's very much like head based. So if we can kind of, the perspective of spirituality is that the heart is the connection between people, between us and the other dimensions. So having our thoughts, being aware of that, can help us move between these centers, basically. Another big one is peace and understanding about death and the afterlife. There are, of course, many different ways to look at this, and I'm not saying this is the ultimate truth, but I've come to understand, for me, like how things at least seem to work. And as a medium, I've had experiences, and I know work with clients who have their loved ones coming and visiting and have messages coming through. So that is the other side, and they are very much not dead. I truly believe that our soul, when we're leaving our physical body, we will go somewhere else. And I believe in reincarnation, and that we will have many lives, again, for the purpose of learning. So I'm not fearing death. It's the same, like, when we're sleeping and we're having a dream that feels very real, but then we wake up and then it's like, oh, I was just dreaming. This is the reality. And on a grander level, I do believe that that's happening when we die. That's when we realize, like, oh, I was just living a life on planet Earth. It's all okay, But the part of planet Earth school is to really immerse ourselves in it and assume that it's real, because otherwise we wouldn't take it as seriously. But having that perspective that we are immortal souls, eternal souls, helps us deal with this thing called death, which is inevitable for all of, our bodies, that is. But the most important thing of all of them would be to, through meditation as the tool, with this whole perspective that we've had many lives, we have cosmic origins, we have, knowledge that we can tap into, has really enabled me to find out what is true for me, answers to my questions myself. I don't need to rely on external information. I can tune in and just listen to what my heart, my soul has to offer, and that's a path to develop, for sure. And it takes time. Initially, if we might start meditating, our thoughts might be less than kind, so that's something we need to work on if we choose to try to achieve, insights during meditation. But for me, the work has for sure been worth it, because the insights I personally have received for me in relation to my life has been, profound, and it has guided me and made me see the right choice in so many different situations. That has led me to amazing experiences, and I'm very grateful for these insights, because they truly have changed my life, for sure. So that was kind of like some quick benefits that I have gained from having this spiritual perspective. And so in my coaching, in my mediumship, this is the perspective that I have on life and everything that's going on. So it's this video is an offer for me to just show that this is an option, and again, take what resonates and leave out what doesn't. I, again, highly encourage you to form your own way to look at the world, because that's when it really works for us. You know, I've had other perspectives that just doesn't feel right because they're not mine, and because I can't own them. So with that being said, I'd love to hear what kind of perspectives do you have on the world? Is there anything here in this video that resonated with you? Any questions, feel free to like, comment and subscribe and all of those things. Of course, like I said, it's my first video, so it's with great excitement that I'm welcoming you to my YouTube channel. And I hope to see you in another video. Bless. Bye-bye.